If you're a volleyball player or a basketball player, you might have to quit if you want to jump higher. I want you to think of training in general, especially if you're training for a sport, like a video game. There are some video games where you choose a character and then you can upgrade their strength, their speed, their magic, endurance, that type of thing. And humans are very similar. I want you to think of it as you have 5 attribute points that you have to spend. And the main 3 things that you can spend it on are your skill in the sport that you're playing, your tendon health, and your athleticism as the 3rd thing. You could spend all 5 points on your skill, but you might not improve your athleticism and you might not get healthier. Or you can spend all 5 points on being healthy, but you're not gonna get better at your sport and you're not gonna jump higher. And the same is true for jumping. You can spend all 5 points on jumping, but not get healthier and not get better at your sport. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't play your sport and jump higher and get healthier tendons. Some people have 10 points they can spend. Some people have 20 points they can spend. I'm gonna use the NBA as an example. The path to get to the NBA weeds out anybody that's injury prone and that's not an athletic freak. To make it to the NBA, you have to handle essentially playing basketball for hours every single day, be more athletic naturally than your peers, all without getting hurt. So the guys that make it are essentially the cream of the crop when it comes to injury resilience and skill and athleticism. And there are some NBA players that can handle playing that much and showing up to workouts and having dunk sessions essentially every day after practice. And those are usually your freak athletes that you see, the guys that have 45-inch verticals that are also playing in the NBA. However, some of us might not even have 5 points. Some of us might only have 3 points that we can spend. And I'll use myself as an example. I played high school sports all 4 years that I was in high school, and practices were brutal. I was practicing basketball literally 3 hours a day, every single day. However, I was also having dunk sessions on top of this, and I actually jumped way higher in season my senior year of high school. I think my vertical went from like 34 to almost 40 inches within a basketball season. And what I was doing is I was going to practices for 3 hours, then I would come home and dunk for another 2 or 3 hours. And I was lucky enough that I was able to handle that, kind of. I ended up getting extremely bad knee pain that took years to be able to resolve. But I did improve. And guys that are on THP also improve in season. This athlete right here, his name is Eunice, and mid-season he improved his vertical 3 inches, got rid of back pain, and he's actually at like 6 inches of vertical gain currently. Or we have guys like Nazir that mid-season handle playing every single day and are able to get their tendons healthier. Now these cases, however, are very tough. And if those same athletes were to stop playing their sport, they likely would jump even higher and get even healthier. However, most athletes are trying to jump higher because of their sport. So I don't recommend that. Unless dunking is your passion or you're a track and field athlete where that's literally the whole focus is just being able to jump as high as possible and then staying as healthy as possible, and you don't have to be practicing the skill of the sport for hours every day. If that's not you, it's still worth jump training in season. However, you have to do a needs analysis for yourself. A needs analysis basically is asking yourself a few questions, and those questions dictate exactly what to do with your training. This is what we do at THP. When you first sign up, you get a list of questions. How old are you? How long have you been training? How high can you jump? What is your injury history? Do you have any current injuries? What have you been doing for training in the last few months? And then those questions dictate what to do with your training. For example, if someone signs up for THP and they're in season, but they have 0 injury history, they're able to handle jump sessions and have not gotten hurt, that is a perfect candidate to go and train. Mind you, with the caveat that your performance is probably gonna go down in season because you're gonna be fatigued from the workouts, but that's somebody that can still train, and if you're young enough, you're still going to see results. So, the hook of the video was a little aggressive. I said you need to quit playing volleyball, quit playing basketball to jump higher. That's not necessarily true, but it is true that you will jump even higher if you quit doing those things. If your goal is to not play professionally or something like that, let's say your goal is only to jump higher or to dunk, but you play sports for fun, if you're in that category of person, I suggest when the season's over, take some time to get healthy and then focus fully on training. You're gonna come back to your season a freak athlete. So there's a lot of options here, right? This is where the principle of individuality comes in. Everybody's different. Everybody's injury resilience is different. Everybody responds to training differently. So there's a blanket statement for everybody should try to focus on the vertical in season, or you should stop trying to focus your vertical in season, take some time off from playing your sport after the season ends and train, or continue playing your season and off season so that your skill in your sport doesn't detrain while still trying to do vertical jump workouts. They're all correct answers, but there's a different answer for you specifically. And again, that's one of the laws of adaptation. The whole point of training is to cause a change in your body that's going to allow you to get healthier, stronger, to play your sport better, to produce more force more quickly, jump higher, run faster. And individuality is extremely important to take into account. If you're doing a program and they haven't taken into account your specific needs, it's a bad program. So having said that, if this is you, if you're in season or out of season, main goal is getting better at volleyball or basketball, or if your main goal is to jump higher or to high jump, whatever it is, THP is the program for you. Go to THPstrength.com to go sign up. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you next time.